Hey y'all, so I'm going to show you my growing garden here. This is in zone 2B, so it's a very northern zone. It's actually more north than my parents' home, which is about 250 kilometers north from me. That is to say, the zone is colder than theirs. They're in 3 and I'm in 2B. So I want to show you what I think can be grown here. Some of this stuff has overwintered because I've now been here for almost a year, but a lot of it is newly planted this year. So maybe next year I'll do an update and show you what survived, but I think most of it will. Most of it is rated down to 2B to 3 sort of. So if I water it well right in the fall, I think a lot of this stuff will make it through. And there's some pretty unusual, particularly berries, that you might be surprised about, and the health benefits, of course, are great. So again, these are just pretty newly planted, not been here long, but so we start off with, I believe this first one here is a black currant. There's a few of them here, not a lot. And they're kind of sheltered. It probably ought to be more open. These 3 here ought to be more in open lighting, but it was just a choice I made. I forget the reason why, but it might have been to do with the water. And then I have Saskatoons. I have about 10 Saskatoons. A lot of them have yet to open yet. Got this one open and a couple over here that have opened. I think 10 Saskatoons, a few raspberries here. Got raspberries on the other side, which these ones are a little bit more developed. They were planted last year. They're looking all right. And I forget what these are. I forget what these 4 are here. They might also be Saskatoons, but I can't recall. I have a gooseberry. I might get a few more gooseberries. It's looking all right. And then this is an unusual berry that has supposedly a huge amount of health benefits. I mean, I've planted it at a very small stage. It was almost just a seedling in many respects, and one of them hasn't made it here. But there's sea buckthorn. And again, sea buckthorn is huge amounts of benefits. I have a few blueberries here. Some of them are making it, some of them aren't. I have bigger, more developed blueberries that are doing fairly well on the other side. I can maybe show you quickly. And another great berry that grows in the really northern climate that most people don't know about and tastes good, as well as, again, a lot of people claim have a lot of health benefits, is the Haskap. So you have to do a female and a male with the Haskaps. And I chose the Aurora Borealis. It's a Saskatoon breed. There might be more tasty ones, but they're the ones that do the best as far as I know in the most northern climates. And that's a development strain that was produced, I think, by the Saskatoon University, I believe it is. So I think that's Borealis and that's Aurora together, Aurora Borealis. In other words, kind of the northern lights of the Haskap groupings. And then I'm playing around with goji berries. I didn't quite plant them as I probably ought to have, given that I've only gave them about 8 inches of depth here to grow in, and I probably ought to give them about a foot each. And then I planted grass around them. It's wheat grass, so I haven't been trimming it to juice, but that was the idea, because they're kind of, as far as I know, they tend to grow fairly well together. So that's why I put the gojis with the wheat grass. And then these are just some flowers. I was away for a little bit, so I missed watering my cucumbers and tomatoes. I have some more actually strawberries in that patch. Strawberries are doing great, and I think that some of these have overwintered, so I don't think I'm going to have any troubles with my strawberries. I got about 10 of those plants. I tried to transplant some grapes, didn't work. Here's one grape that I just bought out of a store. It's doing all right. Blueberries, for whatever reason, I'm having a lot of trouble with my blueberries. This one's looking all right. A few of them are all right. They had an infestation of, I think it was ants and maybe sandflies or something. I put some kaolin clay on it, which is generally considered organic, and I think it's helped a little bit. Maybe needs another application of it. This one in particular is really not looking good, but it might make it. And then, honestly, I forget what these guys are back here. They're another berry bush. I might just have to wait to see how they go. One of them's not going to make it looks like. Nice. Maybe a few leaves there. Another couple perennials that a lot of people don't know about. Of course, rhubarb, everybody does. But horseradish is an unusual far north sort of perennial that works for those that are into the kind of taste of, you know, horseradish. Not many people are, but if you're going to make wasabi or something. And then I'm trying a few, this is a really, really kind of experimental thing that I've done here. Because in spruce you very rarely get good inoculation for mushrooms, right? I'm trying an oyster here, and I forget what the second one is. And what I did is I put a mesquite, ground up mesquite mix, and the ants are loving it. I ground up mesquite mix into the oyster inoculation juice, and then I covered it with, this is probably ridiculous, but I covered it with honey. The reason for that is that mushrooms like the sweetness, and it's the fall or the spring that they grow the best, and this is in the middle of the summer. So I thought it could maybe add a bit of a protective layer and provide a bit of sweetness with the mesquite, which I drilled 1 1/3 inch holes into, about 1 inch deep, put mesquite in, then I did the inoculation in them, and I did 2 different kinds of mushrooms. We'll see if that takes. I really kind of, again, highly experimental, but it's a fun sort of attempt at something, I guess. And then really over there I just have more raspberries, because raspberries are one of my favorites, so I got lots of those. Yeah, so that's pretty much the garden. I'll show you this just for fun. Today I've been playing with something called the Green Dragon, which is a foam injector which you can put into cement. So usually you use Portland cement. I don't have the right cement, and it's not looking like it's going to take, because I think the mixture was a little bit not enough pressure. More pressure would have probably produced less bubbles, so it's bubbling a little bit. But the neat thing about aircrete is that you can like cut it, you can shape it easier, other than the fact it doesn't like molds, because it just drips right out of them. So I got to figure out something better than that, and probably adjust my mixture a little bit. It was kind of a willy-nilly first try mixture, so this is the first attempt at this guy. Pretty simple little design. It's just like a water pump connected to a pressure gauge and such, and then you got your compressor that you hook up to with a wand with like a tightly coiled coil inside, and this is just a water bucket with a certain amount of 7th generation soap. You got to put about half a thing of it in for approximately 5 gallons. Anyways, it's really experimental. Might be something I use more down the road, because I have some ideas how it could be used. It's really, a lot of people think, the future of building materials if it's done right, but this is kind of a makeshift version. But all the best. Good day.